So let's introduce you to Samurai 3. Samurai isn't your typical slider that just does some simple fades and slides. No, Samurai gives you some amazing 3D animations that can really make your designs and your web pages pop. So as you can see in this demo, we've enabled all the things, okay? All the settings here so you can kind of get a glimpse of what Samurai can do for you. We have random animations that is slicing up the Samurai images in different amounts of slices. Things are going in different directions so you can kind of randomize things. As you see, we have captions. If you hover over, we have animations, so you can actually manually go ahead and navigate through. You see that we have arrows to go previous and next. We have bullets down on the bottom that nicely hide away when you unhover. Now we have to check out the interactive demo. Because there's so many amazing animations going on inside Samurai, I really wanted to give you the interactive ability to see what it can do for you. So here we'll notice just by default, I can go ahead and there's external controls. So you have the ability to actually have controls outside of the slider, just as we do right here in this interactive demo. Now, as you see, I kind of like this one slice ability where it gives you a very just simple 3D rotation animation. We can dynamically adjust the number of slices in our animation. You notice that we can also go all the way up to, let's go to 10, right? And let's see some interesting animations. So let's go ahead and let's see what gap does. Let's take gap down to 0, right? And that gives us a very interesting where there's absolutely no gap in between, right? And we can go all the way up to something big, and maybe we'll reduce the number of slices on that, right? And so you see it, we have a lot of different varied animations going from one to the next are very different looks and feels. But this interactive demo gives you an example of what we can do. Now, in terms of speed, there's different animations will actually look better depending on the animation that you have, right? So let's go ahead and up this to, let's go to 10. And let's go ahead and look at overshoot and settle. If we animate this, that's pretty nice, right? Now we can slow this down a little bit, right? To kind of give us a more flowy effect, right? If we go to, let's say, bouncy ball, right? Kind of gives us a slightly different effect. So there are some animations that will look better or different based on the animation. Now, implementing Samurai is super easy. When you add Samurai to the page, you get one Samurai slide. And there's a blue button that has a child stack that allows us to add slides in different ways. We either have drag and drop images, we can support warehouse, or a CMS slide that allows you to integrate things like total CMS and feeds. Now let's dive into some of the Samurai settings. Here we have the ability to configure the slices. So how many slices do you want? Do you want a random number of slices, or do you want a static number of slices? What sort of gap do you want on the slice? What are the colors that you want in between the slices, right? So we have a lot of customizability there. Next up is our animation options. And a lot of these options are going to be what we saw on the interactive demo with a couple other things such as perspective and slice delay, which is the amount of delay that you get per slice. And obviously we can have autoplay as well. We can add round corners to our images, which is really cool, especially those round corners are maintained as the animation's going, which was not simple actually. Next is our captions, and how do we want to animate those? There's currently two options for animation of captions, as well as size and colors. You can have nav arrows, you can turn those on or off, and the same thing with the navigation bullets and all the style ability there. For the navigation, you have to define just a single SVG. You can customize that with your own SVG, and the SVG will be flipped for the previous navigation, right? So that way we just supply one and it'll just use that same exact SVG for previous and next. And at the bottom here, we have the ability to have external controls, and that's so a class that we can add to whatever buttons you want. And those classes will control whether or not you want to navigate to the next or previous slides within Samurai. Within the Samurai slide stacks, and this is the drag and drop example, but all the options are going to be the same. We have the ability to have the alt text for SEO purposes, as well as the caption. If you don't want a caption, just simply leave the caption blank and no caption will be added to that slide. And of course, we can add our favorite HTML classes to customize each individual slide to our liking. So I hope you can see how powerful Samurai is and how it can really be used to make your web designs pop. I hope you enjoy it and go forth and make your websites great.